Russell Martin is not here to play around. What he's doing at Rangers this summer is nothing short of a full-blown rebuild, and the sheer intensity of it is catching everyone's attention. 10 signings to the door already, and still it's clear he's not done yet. This isn't just about numbers, it's about intent, about shaping a team in his image. A team that can go head-to-head with Celtic and truly challenge for dominance in Scottish football again. And while the outfield has seen a flurry of new arrivals, there's one area of the pitch that's remained curiously untouched so far: the goalkeeper position. Until now. Because quietly behind the scenes, Rangers are moving. There's a shift coming between the sticks, and it could mark a turning point in the squad structure. While Jack Butland has been nothing short of sensational since joining the demands of a long, grinding season across multiple fronts, mean depth is non-negotiable. You cannot survive Europe League battles, domestic cups, and all the pressure that comes with wearing the blue shirt without serious backup. And that's where Arsenal's Kyle Hine comes into the frame. Hine isn't a household name in British football yet. But dig just a little deeper, and you start to realize why his name is causing a stir at Ibrox. Born in Estonia, just 23 years old, but already with 39 international caps under his belt. That's no small feat. He's been Estonia's Young Player of the Year not once, but twice. And even though his opportunities at Arsenal's first team have been extremely limited, with just a single competitive appearance, the reputation he's built on the international stage speaks volumes. Now let's be honest. His recent spell in Spain with Real Valladolid didn't exactly turn heads. He was the starting keeper in a team that finished rock bottom of La Liga, conceding a ridiculous 90 goals across the campaign. 30 on starts, 14 points, bottom of the table. Those aren't exactly the kind of stats that inspire confidence. But context is everything. He was playing behind a defense that was in shambles in a system that never quite found its feet. And for a young keeper, those experiences, as brutal as they are, can be the making of you. You learn to survive, to deal with adversity, to keep going, even when everything around you is falling apart. Back in Glasgow, though, the standard set by Jack Butland is sky high. Since Russell Martin took over, Butland has been a rock. From his commanding performances in the Champions League qualifiers against Panathinaikos to his week in, week out consistency. In the league, he's been arguably the most reliable player in the squad. Pulling him out of the starting 11 would raise serious questions. Truth be told, any move for Hine right now looks like it's designed to provide competition, not to replace. But that doesn't make it any less important. Depth in the goalkeeping department is absolutely essential. Injuries, suspensions, fatigue, they're all part of the game. And in seasons like this, when the club is juggling so many different competitions, you need to be covered. And not just with a warm body. You need someone with the potential to step in and deliver when it matters. Hine may not be a finished product yet, but his pedigree, experience at a young age and hunger to prove himself make him an intriguing option. But that's not the only headline at Ibrox this week. Rangers have pulled off what many are calling one of the steals of the summer with the signing of Oliver Antman. If you haven't seen this lad in action yet, you're in for a treat. Straight out of the Dutch Eredivisie, where he lit up the league for go-ahead Eagles, Antman arrived in Glasgow with a modest price tag, just around £4 million. But according to European scouting analysts, replacing a player of his level would cost closer to €28 million. That's the scale of this signing. It's not just hype. The numbers back it up. Antman was one of the standout wingers in Dutch football last season, offering a rare blend of attacking flair and defensive contribution. High finishing probability, excellent off-the-ball movement, and even solid passing metrics. This is the kind of wide player that makes things happen, and Rangers got him for a fraction of what he's arguably worth. That's smart business, the kind of move that signals a club not just throwing money around, but making calculated decisions with long-term impact. And this kind of savvy recruitment is exactly what Russell Martin has been pushing for. Build a team with depth, with character, with hunger. Players who can press high, move the ball quickly, and execute a system that demands both technical quality and tactical discipline. And so far, the early signs are positive. The new arrivals are settling in fast. There's a buzz around the place. Again, that sense of belief that maybe, just maybe, this could be the group to bring silverware back to Ibrox. And speaking of belief, let's talk about John Souttar. Now, in the final year of his contract, his future is a bit up in the air. But when you hear the way he speaks about the club, the way he leads on the pitch, it's clear how much it means to him to wear the Rangers badge. Just recently, he captained the side in a dominant 3-0 win over Victoria Pleasant in the Champions League qualifiers. A performance that showed not just his defensive quality, but his leadership under pressure. Asked about his contract after the match, Souttar was candid. He hasn't heard much, but he's not letting that distract him. He's focused on training hard, giving 100% every time he steps onto the pitch and letting the rest sort itself out. That kind of mentality is priceless. In a squad going through so much change, having players who understand the weight of the jersey and lead by example is vital. That performance against Pleasant was one of the most complete Rangers have produced this season. From the first whistle, the team played with energy, purpose, and composure, moving the ball quickly, creating chances, controlling the tempo. It was the kind of display that shows exactly what Martin is trying to build, and Souttar alongside summer signing Leon King was at the heart of it all. Clean sheet dominant defense, confident passing from the back. Exactly what you want to see heading into a tough European away leg. The good news for Rangers fans is that the draw in the opening match of the domestic campaign against Motherwell seems to have lit a fire under the squad. Players admitted it themselves. They were disappointed. They knew they let themselves down. And the response against Victoria Pleasant was immediate and emphatic. This is a team that wants to improve, that wants to compete, and that isn't afraid to be honest about where it needs to get better. Souttar summed it up perfectly. It wasn't just about winning. It was about the way they played, the intensity, the movement, the decision-making. Playing at Ibrox demands a performance, and after a sluggish start to the league, they delivered. The fans felt it, the players felt it, and you can bet Martin felt it too. This wasn't just a win, it was a statement. Now the road ahead is still long. Nothing's won in August, but the signs are there. The rebuild is real. The belief is returning. And if the moves in the goalkeeping department come off, if Hein arrives and brings the kind of depth and ambition this squad needs, then Rangers might just have the balance they've been chasing for years. While the first signs of Russell Martin's rebuild are being felt all across the pitch, what's happening off it is just as telling. There's a mentality shift, a new culture quietly embedding itself within the dressing room, and it's one driven by accountability, resilience, and the hunger to restore Rangers to where they believe they belong. And in this second wave of transformation, it's no longer just about bringing in new players. It's about testing character, about forging partnerships, about identifying who's truly ready to wear the jersey in moments that matter. One name that keeps popping up in those conversations is John Souttar. His recent form hasn't just been solid, it's been defining. He's stepping up at a time when the team desperately needs leadership, and doing it not with flashy moments, but with the kind of presence you can build a backline around. Against Victoria Pleasant, he was a wall. Organized, vocal, assertive. He wasn't just defending, he was commanding. And when you consider the uncertainty around his contract, it adds another layer of intrigue. Here's a player in the final year of his deal, no clarity on what comes next, and still putting in performances like that. That tells you everything about his mindset. But what's also fascinating is how Russell Martin is managing the situation. He's made it clear that Souttar is going to be a crucial part of the setup this season, even giving him the armband on a European night. Yet at the same time, he's not pushing the contract talk. He's leaving that to the people above him, keeping the focus on football. And maybe that's exactly what Souttar needs. The space to play, to lead, to prove without distractions. If he keeps delivering these levels of performance, the decision might just take care of itself. On the other side of that defense, another summer arrival is already making waves. Leon Balogun's return to the club caught some by surprise, but it's looking more and more like a masterstroke. There's an understanding between him and Souttar that's developing fast, and while they've only played a handful of games together, it already feels like there's a balance there. One. That's rooted in experience, communication, and mutual trust. Balogun's been around. He knows what it takes. And in the big moments, that calmness can be priceless. This is where Martin is quietly doing some of his best work. Not just in the transfers, but in the chemistry. Because it's one thing to sign players, it's another to make them click. And already you can see the fingerprints of a manager who wants partnerships across the pitch. Duos who understand each other's movements, who cover for each other, who trust in the system, and more importantly in each other. Whether it's Balogun and Souttar or the budding link-ups forming in midfield, an attack is this cohesion that's starting to take shape, slowly but surely. But of course, nothing in football moves in straight lines. There will be bumps. There already have been. That draw with Motherwell wasn't part of the plan. But the way the team responded was everything. It wasn't just a reaction. It was a reset. The players came out against Victoria Pleasant like they had a point to prove, and they did just that. From the first whistle, there was urgency. The ball was moving quicker, the decision-making sharper, the pressing more coordinated. That first half in particular felt like a blueprint for what Martin wants his team to look like: high tempo, confident, expressive, but always disciplined. In the heart of that performance, you had players stepping up who needed to. Todd Cantwell, back in the side, looked like the spark again. Cyril Desires, who's faced his share of criticism, buried his penalty with authority and played with a bit more edge. J.D. Gilmore popped up with a brace. Clinical finishes that reminded everyone why there's still so much belief in his potential. These are the performances that change narratives, that remind the fan base and the squad that this project is alive and the potential is very real. And let's not ignore how big this win was in the broader context. European nights at Ibrox carry a certain weight, a certain expectation, and the fans turned up as they always do. They backed the team after a frustrating domestic start, and the players repaid them. A 3-0 lead heading into the second leg in the Czech Republic is massive. It puts Rangers one step away from a playoff tie that could see them face either Club Brugge or Esbjerg, both dangerous sides but both beatable. Qualification for the Champions League is not just about prestige, it's about money, momentum, and marketability. If Russell Martin can guide this team into the group stages, it changes everything. But that pressure, that expectation is constant. And Martin knows it, which is why he's been so methodical in how he speaks publicly. There's no overpromising, no bold declarations, just calm, focused analysis. He knows there's still work to do. He knows that Celtic haven't gone anywhere, that the league is a marathon, not a sprint. But he also knows the importance of winning hearts as well as matches, of bringing the supporters with him on this journey. And that's why these performances matter so much. Because it's not just about points or progression. It's about belief. And belief is contagious. You could feel it building inside Ibrox that night. Every crisp pass, every crunching tackle, every smart switch of play, it added fuel to the fire. This squad is starting to believe. And when that happens, anything becomes possible. One area that still needs attention, though, is the final third. While Antman's arrival gives Rangers a fresh injection of pace and unpredictability out wide, the forward line still needs sharpening. The Desires debate continues to divide opinion, and while his goal against Plzeň will have done him good, there's still a sense that the club might be tempted to dip into the market for another number 9. Someone who can offer a different profile, perhaps more physicality or a more natural poacher's instinct. Because as good as the build-up play has been at times, the finishing touch has to become more ruthless if Rangers are going to seriously challenge on all fronts. That's where Antman becomes such a crucial piece. He's not just a winger, he's a creator, a space manipulator, someone who can drift between lines, pull defenders out of shape, and open up channels for others. And with players like Cantwell and Gilmore linking through the middle, the attacking combinations start to look a lot more dangerous. But again, it comes down to consistency. This squad has shown it can produce. Now it has to prove it can do it week in, week out. That's the real test. As we look ahead, the schedule doesn't get any easier. European trips, high stakes, league fixtures, cup games. It's relentless. But for the first time in a while, there's a sense that Rangers are building towards something that isn't just temporary. It's not just a patchwork team or a short-term fix. It's a vision. Russell Martin isn't trying to reinvent the wheel. He's trying to build a team with identity, with resilience, with the hunger to fight and the belief to win. And if the players keep buying in, if the fans keep backing it, then this could be the start of something very real at Ibrox. There's still a long road ahead. But the pieces are starting to fit. The squad is deeper. The style is becoming clearer. The mentality is shifting. And with every training session, every match, every press conference, you get the sense that something is changing behind the scenes. It's not loud, it's not flashy, but it's focused, determined, ruthless in its pursuit of improvement, and that's the kind of energy that wins titles. That wins trophies, that brings glory back to Ibrox, and with more moves possibly on the horizon, especially in goal, the message is clear. No position is safe, no complacency allowed. If Carl Hein comes in, it won't be as a tourist. It'll be as a competitor, a challenger, a young keeper with something to prove and everything to gain. And that kind of internal pressure is healthy. It keeps standards high. It keeps players sharp. And if this rebuild is going to reach its full potential, then that competition has to be everywhere, not just up front or in midfield, but in every single spot, including between the sticks. That's the culture Russell Martin is building. And that's why this summer, this window, this project, it's not just about signing players. It's about setting a tone. And make no mistake, the tone at Ibrox right now is unmistakable. We're coming. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. In what could be the shock of the summer transfer window, there are strong murmurings across the Scottish footballing landscape suggesting that Lawrence Shankland has agreed terms with Rangers. While no official statement has been made, sources close to the Ibrox side have reportedly confirmed that the Hearts captain is set to don the blue shirt this season. The potential signing has already set tongues wagging, with fans split between excitement and disbelief. Shankland, who netted 31 goals in all competitions last season for the Jambos, is seen by many as a natural poacher, a striker in the mold of classic goal-getters, capable of turning a half chance into a match winner. The news has created a ripple effect, especially considering the fierce competition he will bring to the Premiership's Golden Boot race. Should the deal be confirmed, it would not only bolster the Rangers' front line, but also inject renewed energy into the old, firm rivalry. Insiders claim Shankland has privately expressed ambitions that go beyond merely joining a bigger club. He's allegedly set his sights on outscoring Celtic's KYOGO Furuhashi, a bold aim that is certain to stir up the already fiery atmosphere of Glasgow's football scene. If Shankland indeed makes the move to Ibrox, the implications could be vast both on and off the pitch. Not only would Rangers be acquiring a proven domestic goal scorer, but they would also be sending a strong signal of intent ahead of the new campaign. Whispers suggest that manager Philippe Clement sees Shankland as the missing piece in a puzzle that has too often faltered in front of goal. While the Light Blues have invested in various attacking options over recent years, none have consistently delivered in the way KYOGO has at Parkhead. The rumored arrival of Shankland could shift that balance. A boyhood Rangers supporter, Shankland's possible return to Govan carries a romantic twist that fans would relish. Yet football is rarely sentimental. This would be a business move with clear strategic underpinnings. The club's hierarchy have been criticized for lacking ruthlessness in the transfer market, but this development, if proven true, could flip that narrative. Fans are already dreaming of Shankland debuting in a packed Ibrox, possibly in the season's first derby, an image that sends chills through the blue half of the city. The plot thickens with each passing hour, and anticipation only grows. While many will recall that Shankland was previously linked with Rangers during his Dundee United days, it's the timing of his latest speculation that adds weight. With the season around the corner and Rangers eager to wrestle the league title back from Celtic's grasp, this rumor feels more than opportunistic. Various outlets suggest the deal has been in the works quietly for weeks and that a medical may already be scheduled. If accurate, such secrecy hints at a well-planned strategy by the Rangers board, who are keen to avoid the media circus that can derail transfer momentum. What's particularly interesting is the chatter that Shankland has been training with, an intensity that reflects his hunger for a new challenge. Those close to him claim he's determined to silence any critics who question whether he can cut it at the very top. His ambition to outscore KYOGO, a quote allegedly shared in confidence with close friends, is already circulating amongst supporters who are either thrilled by the bravado or wary of the pressure it brings. Regardless, few can deny that such a mindset would be welcome in a Rangers side desperate for a killer instinct. Critics will argue that Shankland still has much to prove at the very highest level. His previous spells in the Scottish lower leagues and a modest stint abroad haven't always convinced the skeptics that he's ready to lead the line for a title-challenging side. But statistics don't lie, and his recent form at Hearts is difficult to ignore. His knack for popping up in key moments, his calmness from the penalty spot, and his overall composure in tight spaces have drawn comparisons to some of Ibrox's great forwards of years gone by. That said, the rumor mill doesn't always churn. Out truth. There's been no official word from Hearts, who may be reluctant to part ways with their talisman without a serious bid. Nor have Rangers confirmed any movement, which fuels both speculation and doubt. However, trusted journalists have noted an unusual silence from both camps, which in itself may speak volumes. One well-placed source even claimed that everything is agreed, and that it's now a matter of timing the announcement for maximum impact. If Shankland does indeed make the leap, it will send shockwaves through the Premiership and reignite the battle for dominance in Scottish football. As fans continue to speculate, debates rage online and in pubs from Glasgow to Edinburgh. Is this the right move for Shankland? Will he thrive under the pressure of playing for one of Scotland's biggest clubs? Can he really outshine KYOGO, a player who has become synonymous with goals and success at Celtic? No one can say for certain, but the mere suggestion has injected fresh excitement into the Scottish game. For Rangers, who have often struggled to find a reliable source of goals post Alfredo Morelos, the potential addition of a Scottish striker in his prime could be exactly what's needed. For Shankland, it could be a career-defining opportunity. And for the league as a whole, it's a storyline rich in drama, rivalry, and unpredictability. Everything that makes Scottish football unmissable. Until official confirmation arrives, it remains a tantalizing rumor. But in football, rumors have a habit of becoming reality. And if this one does, the sparks between blue and green will burn brighter than ever. Watch this space. Something big might be brewing in Govan. Greetings, fans. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comment section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.